Yo, what's happening guys, and welcome back to a brand new Warzone video. In today's video we're going to be looking at some more tips and tricks, and a lot of these tips and tricks are very secretive. A lot of people don't really know about these. Some of this is just like general tips and tricks and little things that you guys can do to make it a little bit easier to win in Warzone. Guys, if you liked today's video, please drop a like on it, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's hop straight into the tips, guys. First of all, we're going to talk about settings and stuff that you guys should be running. So first of all, if you go into your settings, go to weapon settings, make sure you guys are using contextual tap if you're playing Battle Royale or solos. I heard that in Plunder it doesn't work, it doesn't let you send the money, but if you're playing normal Battle Royale, contextual tap will basically let you reload, pick up stuff, get into vehicles a lot quicker by pressing square if you're in PlayStation. So the first set of tips here is just going to be really settings that you guys should definitely use. I would use a square map and I would not set it to rotate. The square map is a little bit bigger than the round map, and if you don't rotate it, the top of the map is north, the right side of it's east, the bottom is south, and the left side is west. So you'll always be able to make really easy callouts if it doesn't rotate. And if you guys do call in a UAV, make sure you guys open up your map and actually look at it and mark buildings while you've got a UAV active, because sometimes it takes a little while for you to get there and you kind of forget where the person was on the UAV. But if you just mark the building, you'll know that they're probably in around that area. And finally, for your audio settings, make sure you have the audio preset set to boost high. A lot of people have issues with footsteps. If you're using boost high, it's a lot easier to hear footsteps. So whenever you're actually spawning into the game, while you're parachuting in, you can actually use a free look feature. I think it's L1 on PlayStation 4. It will literally prompt you, and you're able to actually mark people while you're parachuting in. Another little tip is, guys, if you're parachuting off buildings, you're able to use armor plates while you're parachuting. So definitely keep that in mind if you're trying to get away from a gunfight or something, if you're hopping off a building or hopping like away from the storm. Heal up your armor plates while you fly. Basically what you have to do is use the armor plate as soon as you jump and then pull your parachute. Now when you are starting the match, the best way to start the match is by marking a contract. It's really key in Warzone to get cash, because you need to buy your loadout drop, your self-revive, UAVs, you might have to buy back your teammates. Definitely getting cash is a huge priority in Warzone, and it'll basically help you win the match. If you're spawning into a hot area, just get a bounty, try to spawn on a bounty, because most likely you'll either kill them or somebody else will kill the people in the area, and you'll get really easy money from that, and it just lets you know where people are, especially if you're spawning like military base or somewhere that's really hot. If you do the recon missions, basically it'll show you the final safe zones, so the more you do, the more circles it shows you. So if you're really trying to get a win, just try to collect the flags and obviously collect those. The really cool thing about those are as well, they drop you armor plates, gas masks, all that kind of stuff. You actually can get some free loot off them, but just keep in mind that there is a yellow flare that pops up in the sky. So if you see a yellow flare, or if you're actually capturing one of them, just keep an eye out for that, because people will know you're there. Also in the buy stations, if you revive a teammate, a red flare will come out of that. Just keep all of that in mind, guys. Information is power in this game, and if people know where you are and you know where people are, you're able to get kills and hopefully avoid dying. So anyway guys, prioritize cash, get a loadout drop. That should be the first thing that you guys should look towards getting. Now a couple of little tips with the loadout drop. Whichever class setup that you guys are going to use, make sure that's on the top of your loadout drop. So as soon as you open it, you can just press circle and grab whatever you want. You don't want to be scrolling through the loadout drop for too long, because people will just run up on you, especially if it's one that's dropped out of the sky. People will be coming for that. Apparently loadout drops that come out of the sky are programmed to drop basically directly between you and another team. So if you look at the distance from yourself to a loadout drop, there should be a team roughly that distance away as well. If you guys are getting plenty of cash, use your first loadout drop to go ahead and grab an overkill class setup with something like a sniper and an AR. The setup I'm using right now is an AX50 and a RAM 7. Really recommend the RAM 7 in this game. And then use the second one to get a perk 2. The best perk 2s in this game are definitely Ghost. High Alert is really good because you can see when people are aiming at you. And Restock is really good if you're running stim shots, flash grenades, anything like that, or stun grenades. It'll basically constantly restock all of your equipment. So if you guys are trying to get away from the storm, or if you guys are just trying to push aggressively with stuns and grenades, consider Restock. But definitely Ghost is probably the most popular one. When you're grabbing the loadout drop, like I said, grab the first one that's available, and then use your Ghost class and make that the second one that's available, so it is really easy to flick to it and you don't have to spend too long at it. Now I also heard that if you get a loadout drop stuck in a building, you're able to tip it over the building using a helicopter or a recon drone, so just crash it into the loadout drop and it should be able to drop off the building. The next thing that you guys should prioritize after getting a loadout drop is probably self-revive. Now a couple of really cool tips about self-revive. If you start healing yourself and then let your teammate finish it off, you can basically finish like 90% of the revive, and it'll only take them a second to revive you. and it actually seems to work faster. Whenever you're self-reviving and your team is reviving you at the same time, you're actually able to get revived faster. As well as that, if you're using the perk tune-up, you're able to revive people quicker. In certain cases, you can heal people through walls and through fences, so if you're in a kind of rough position, try to go for it, see if it'll give you the option. Definitely through windows and stuff like that, you can heal people up. Just go ahead and lie down and heal people up through walls. You can also plate up, so if you click on the revive and then start using your armor plates, you can actually heal up and revive your teammate at the same time. As you can see, you can fully move around while reviving, and if somebody's stuck on a roof, they can actually fall off the roof, and it's possible to catch them in midair with a revive. So if your timing's good enough, if you're stuck on a roof, your teammates are down below you, and let's say like the storm is coming in or you can't get back on the roof in time, just try to fall off and your teammate may be able to catch you before you die. Now if things do go badly for you in the game, you may get sent to the gulag. A couple of little tips about the gulag is, especially in console, the magnum is absolutely useless. So for that weapon, I would just sit back, try to use your stun grenade or your grenades or something like that. And if you stun somebody, literally just run up and melee them. It's honestly the easiest way to get a kill with that gun. But otherwise, if you get damaged in the gulag, what you can actually do is fully regen your health by hitting the flag. So the flag spawns in the middle. If you hit the flag, it'll completely heal you up. Now, like I said guys, cash is super important in this game. And once you guys have your self-reses, you've got your loadout drop. And basically you want to spam UAVs. That's the best thing to grab at the end of the match. As you guys have probably seen by now, if all of your teammates call in a UAV at once, you get an advanced UAV. Once again, it's a really good idea to open up your map fully and mark exactly where the people are on your map so you can physically run to it and see how far away it is. It can be a little bit difficult to read the UAV on the fly. At least if you've got a marker, you can see exactly what building they're in. If you guys are trying to get away from the storm, there's a couple of things that you guys can do. Now, if you're running restock, if you guys are running stim shots will heal you up fully in the storm. As well as that, if you guys rock a munitions box, you can put down a munitions box while you're running and it'll give you an additional 2 stim shots. If you're using restock, it'll restock your stim shots. And obviously getting a gas mask is the best way to get away from the storm, so I would recommend that. Most people are actually using a heartbeat sensor at the moment, which is really clutch. If you guys think there's somebody in a building, go ahead and pull out the heartbeat sensor and it'll tell you exactly how far away they are. Just keep in mind that some people do have ghost, so it's not 100% accurate, but in your team you should have at least 1 heartbeat sensor. Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the movement in the game, how you guys can win more gunfights, how you can move better, and just generally be a much better player in multiplayer and in Warzone especially. If you guys are completely new to Modern Warfare, there's a feature called Super Sprint. So basically if you double tap sprint, you will run really fast, but it only lasts for a limited time. You can use a perk called Double Time, which will give you even longer super sprints and allow it to charge up faster. But there actually is a way to charge up your super sprints a lot quicker. Basically, if you super sprint and then slide, it'll recharge your super sprint and you'll be able to keep doing it. Now, I've actually done a test with a friend of mine and it doesn't really seem to work out that much faster. Like if you do a foot race with somebody, it'll be roughly the same speed. There are so many people who wait till the very last minute before pushing into the safe zone and basically just run in a straight line to the safe zone. That's basically the easiest way to get sniped. So if you super sprint, slide, super sprint, slide, it's roughly about the same speed and it makes it way more difficult for people to hit you. Now, a couple of little tips that you guys should be doing to make sure you win more gunfights. Jump shotting is really powerful in this game. If you try to like jump to the side while shooting somebody, it makes it way more difficult for them to hit a headshot, and generally it just makes your shots a lot crispier. Now, there's a thing that you guys can do in the game, what's known as slide cancelling. Basically you run, you double tap slide and ADS. It basically messes up your animation and makes it really difficult for people to hit you. So definitely double tap slide, especially if you're sliding up to a piece of cover. Slide up to a piece of cover, press slide again and that'll put your body back up and you're able to shoot almost instantly, and you can basically camera people. When I say you can camera somebody, it means that you can see them before they can see you. There's a really huge peeker's advantage in this game, so if you guys slide around corners or jump around corners at people, it's going to make it much more difficult for them to kill you. So try to get the peeker's advantage on people if you know exactly where they are. Like for example, if you run into a guy, if you've got a piece of cover beside you, fall back into cover and then jump back out, you'll get a huge peeker's advantage and you'll be able to get the first shots off on him. Another little tip for controlling recoil is crouch spamming. If you crouch, it literally pulls your crosshair down and makes your shots more accurate. And by crouch spamming, it makes your body go up and down and it really breaks aim assist, and it's a really powerful mechanic. If you just keep tapping crouch while shooting, especially in PC, it is extremely powerful. I don't see a lot of people doing this, but you should always mount if you have an opportunity. So on PlayStation, if you go up to a piece of cover, and press R3, it allows you to mount your weapon up. It puts you on a head glitch, which is very powerful already, but it also gives you 0 recoil. So especially in the early parts of the match when you've got like an M13 or a Scar, if you guys are trying to melt people really quickly, try to get to a piece of cover, mount up and completely spray them down. If you guys can't mount up, the easiest way to control recoil is just by pulling down a little bit on your thumbstick. Now finally guys, a few little tips towards the end of the match. Rotations are really bad in this game. Like, if you guys get caught at the edge of the storm, it's so difficult to win. I'm a really good player, but I get stuck on the edge of the storm, and it's just extremely difficult with this sort of quicker time to kill. People are usually camped up in buildings. Prioritize a position in the middle of the safe zone, and try to take a power position. Like, always try to stick to high ground if possible. Always try to stick to cover. Don't leave yourself in the open when possible. So you guys, rotations are super hard. Make sure you guys do them early, even if it means taking a car. It's worth risking it, and getting caught in the storm in this game is just a complete death trap. And a really good tip for positioning at the end is try to prioritize a buy station, because if you're right at the end, you want to be spamming UAVs as much as possible. So if people are coming to the buy station, they're probably trying to get their teammates back for the last time. If you guys are trying to farm some kills, honestly try to find a position close to a buy station. Not only will it give you the accessibility to buy stuff when you need it, but also people are just going to blindly run to it to grab UAVs, to grab self-revives, all that kind of stuff. So definitely farm kills at buy stations. Even in the early parts of the match in the city, if you kind of prioritize a little area, I feel like this works really well in solos. It's kind of like free-for-all. If you look for a position on the map and you basically try to find where people are spawning and run back and forth and kind of patrol an area, you should basically try to patrol a buy station, try to patrol a loadout drop, try to be in an area that you're able to control something. And like I said, sticking to cover and sticking to high ground will give you a huge advantage in any part of the match. Guys, I hope these tips and tricks helped you out. If they did, please go ahead and drop a like on it. Obviously, I have to say that Warzone is really difficult to get a win, so make sure you guys don't feel too bad about not winning. Sometimes the positions are just ultra rough, and there's just nothing you can do. If you guys try to stick to those tips and tricks that I gave you in this video, I think you guys will find a lot more success. Especially if you're going for just a win, just collect recons, drive around, collect recons, go to the final safe zone, get as much cash as you can, grab your UAVs, and you honestly will have a really good chance of winning. Try to save one obviously for the end of the match, because that's when it's going to count most. But yeah guys, those are my tips and tricks. Let me know what you guys thought about them, if there's anything that you learned that's new, and if you guys know any other tips and tricks that I missed, put them in the comment section down below. But that's it for today's video guys, thanks for watching, drop a like, subscribe if you're brand new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.